Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Sports. This is the morning show powered by Wire to Wire Network. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak, and to my right, far right, I got the man that knows better. It is Mo Better. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning, Gene. Good morning, chat. It's Wednesday. What's up, Coach?
What's good? What's good? How y'all doing today?
Wednesdays with Coach is a thing. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Coach Dante. How are you this morning, Coach?
I'm doing great. Like I say, told everybody Terrence Crawford was gonna win that fight, and that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he went out there and did. So
there was a lot of people that said Canelo Alvarez would win that fight, but I can be very confident to tell you the three people on this panel all picked Bud Crawford.
Yep.
I was on Bud. I had it 8-4. I thought he won 8 rounds to 4. I think that 2 judges that scored at 7-5. I guess I could see it that way. But I felt like it was a dominant performance. I think 7-5 didn't do it justice. I understand unanimous decisions, but I don't want Canelo Alvarez to walk away from that fight thinking that it was that close, because to me, it wasn't. I felt like Bud put on a performance, outboxed him, outclassed him the entire fight. Mo, what did you think about the Crawford-Alvarez fight?
I thought Bud was dominant. My only concern for Bud was I know he had a fight plan. I didn't know if he was going to be able to stay disciplined and revert back to his natural instinct, because both of them are pursuers. They come forward. But I was impressed the fact that Bud boxed him. And then when he decided to engage in exchanges, he was just too quick. His hand speed was just too – it was dominant. He did something I didn't expect to happen. I expected him to win, but he wore Canelo out. Like, Canelo was done. He had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, I thought.
What did you have it scored?
I had it 9 rounds. I had it 9 rounds to 4.
That's what I had.
I think he dominated the fight. I think once he kept him in the middle of the ring, I think he controlled the fight. The thing about me surprised me when they was able to go blow for blow. Crawford got a tough chin, bro. He has a great chin. He was taking punches. It didn't seem like it was wearing off on Canelo too, because we know Canelo is the bigger boxer. It's the heavier fighter. But Terrence Crawford is big too. Terrence Crawford is actually big too. He ain't no small. That kid is no small fighter. And then, Canelo don't have a jab. He doesn't jab. Everything he throw is like power punches. So that's one thing that hurts Canelo. Canelo just get away with it because he know how to maneuver through all of that. He know how to use his punches the right way. He know how to set people up. He cuts off the ring very well. But people don't notice Canelo doesn't have a jab. Terrence Crawford has a great, awesome jab. He's a very good counter puncher. And when Canelo was able to throw punches, you can see Terrence Crawford immediately 1-2 comes back with 3 more punches. Now I think they were hurting Canelo. I don't think they were hurting him, but it got Canelo respect. It got Canelo respect right away.
Listen, I don't know, like 9-3, 8-4. That's kind of where I had it. I felt like Bud outboxed him, and that's kind of where I think most people that I watched the fight with had it. But just wanted to kind of get your perspective on the fight. I appreciate you bringing it up, Coach. I haven't been on Monday, Tuesday to talk about it, so thank you for opening the show with that, because I watched that whole fight. I'll say this though: what do you think next for Bud Crawford? I want him to fight Benavidez. Like that's what I
think. That's the thing. I think that's the thing. That's bringing up. Bomac answered that question. He said they're not fighting him right now, but I think it's not off the table. I think Crawford. I think that he would consider that fight. He would consider that fight. But Canelo, I don't expect him to go nowhere near David Benavidez now that he lost his Crawford fight. I don't expect him to go nowhere near David Benavidez now. He's been not trying to go nowhere near him at all. He's been not trying to fight him. So I don't expect him to take that fight after a loss to Terrence Crawford. But it's a multitude of fighters I would love to see Terrence Crawford fight. I would love to see him fight Charlo. I would love to see him fight Jaron Boots Ennis. I would love to see that fight. They both been going back and forth. I don't want to see the Errol Spence rematch. I don't want to see that type of rematch there.
No, that's not real.
Yeah, I want to see him fight either Charlo or either Boots Ennis. But I don't know if Boots Ennis will take the fight. I just don't know if he will take that fight.
I don't think Earl Spence wants to see that fight again either.
No. That was a retirement fight for Earl Spence.
Yeah, I don't know how do you come back from that? Like
I don't know.
I don't know how you come back from that.
Especially the way he talked before the fight. That's I'm gonna murder him. I'm gonna put him like he got like way too like, in my opinion, he got very I don't know how to explain it the right way, but he definitely got like very I have confidence I'm gonna win this fight. There's no way I'm losing this fight. And then
he was insanely cocky.
Yes, cocky. That's the right word. I gotta get it takes me like 10 minutes to get my coffee kicked in for my words to pop up right. So thank you very much, Coach. You're helping me out right now. And Mo, thank you so much. Gotcha. All right, so I want to move on. I didn't get a chance to talk about this. And I want to talk about it. We'll obviously talk about it a little bit more tonight. But I want to move on to, I guess, the way the NFL is continuing. Like the talk on Monday and Tuesday in the football world was around the tush push. Jordan Mailata had comments about this yesterday, and I want to read it to you. And I hear him. He was on WIP yesterday. He goes, Mailata said it's incredibly disrespectful to impact the Eagles defense and special team, to the impact the Eagles and defense and special teams had to the 2017 victory versus the Chiefs. I understand the outrage over the tush push. What I don't understand is them using it as an excuse to why we won the game. I think it's incredibly disrespectful to our defense and our special teams who balled out. And my brothers on defense and special teams who balled out that game, who had our backs when we weren't moving the ball and weren't doing anything. That pisses me off because we give so much to this game, and to kind of base off a short yardage play that is a football play and say that we won the game off of that, but not how our defense played, not how our special teams played, putting us in these positions, I think it's bull crap. I think it's rubbish, absolute rubbish, man. It boils my blood just thinking about it. I blame Nick Wright for this. And Nick Wright, as much as people claim, does not have a platform as big as some other people, as Colin Cowherd or Stephen A. People check in for his Chiefs opinion. I won't lie to you. I did. I wanted to hear, because coming into the week, it's incredibly disrespectful that the Chiefs are underdogs at home. They've never lost 3 straight. Blah, 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 blah. So after they lose the game, I kind of want to hear, when someone's mouthy, you kind of want to hear, oh, okay, they lost the game now. What happened?
Right.
And the entire conversation was rest in peace to the tush push. Offsides by the guards. The Eagles guards jumping early on multiple tush push plays. I, for one, watched that game fully. And if you want to complain about the Eagles guards jumping a little early on the tush push, then I will complain about the fact that Patrick Mahomes got the weakest roughing the passer penalty ever to extend a drive that allowed them to get the game closer when it was 20-10. When it was 3rd and 16 and the Eagles throw them on the ground. I'll pause because I would love, Mo, your opinion first, Coach, then hop right in. Do you think the Eagles win football games solely because of the tush push?
I think the Eagles win football games because you guys have one of the best defenses in football, because you have a dominant offensive line and talented skill position players. Look, if you were a fan of hard-hitting defensive football, then you would have enjoyed Chiefs-Eagles. It wasn't about the tush push was the talk, I guess, after the fact, but throughout the game, both teams' defenses controlled the game. It was a defensive battle, and I'm going to give credit to both. Look, Spags did his thing. I mean, to shut that offense down the way he did, that's Spags and his guys doing their thing. But on the flip side, The Eagles, look, they had Patrick Mahomes under duress the whole game. Chiefs have no run game. They don't really have any explosive players downfield. It was a defensive game. I know late in the game, the Eagles went to the tush push, but you're in the throes of a close defensive game, and it's at the end of the game. You do what every other team does. What do every team do? You try to run the clock out. You try to get first downs and run the clock out. They did exactly that. I don't have a problem with it. If they don't like the tush push, we've had this conversation before, then get rid of it. But until you get rid of it, it's here. And that's where I'm at. I hate that people whine about it so much.
Coach?
The same reason I feel that the Chiefs don't get helped by the referees, which is some degree they do, but I don't blame it all on the referees because teams don't execute the right way against the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't beat them by kicking field goals. You can't beat them by getting a field goal blocked like the Denver Broncos did last season. So the same statement I will make about when people say, oh, the referees help the Chiefs out, which is I totally disagree with, because people don't execute, teams don't execute, and the Chiefs don't beat themselves, and they got so much better on defense. Then the same thing I will say about the Eagles. You just got to give the defense credit, and you also got to give them credit from controlling time of possession, being able to run the football with Saquon Barkley in spurts, and being able to get that turnover by my guy that's at the safety position, getting a big time turnover at the end zone part. You gotta get the Eagles credit, but you gotta give both teams credit. They both fought hard. Both defenses played very well. The Eagles just made more plays. They just ran the ball way more better than the Philadelphia Eagles. So the same way I will complain about the referees don't help the Kansas City Chiefs and teams beat themselves against them, the same way I would say, hey, they don't win because of the tush push.
My man Kurt checking in. He says, I hate that they want to remove the play because they can't stop it. If you don't stop a screen because Mahomes is really good at it, Lamar is really good with his legs, so they're going to ban running. Here's my point, right? And this is the point I always ask people when they talk about the tush push. Are the Chiefs not allowed to run that play? Is it a play just the Eagles are allowed to run? Is that the only, are the Eagles the only team that are allowed to run that play? The answer is no. The Eagles are one of every team that can run that play, but they run it so well because they have an all-pro guard, they have a Pro Bowl center, and they have a quarterback that can squat 500 pounds. That's why the play works. If other teams could run it successfully, I promise you, they would. You watched the Buffalo Bills try to run it in the playoffs. You watched that. Jordy said, why are they worried about the tush push, worried about quarterbacks playing sideline shenanigans? Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Right.
Can we have a conversation about Chris Jones now? Which I did think that was really funny at the end of the game. At the end of the game, the hot mic, did you guys hear the hot mic conversation between Chris Jones and Jalen Hurts? It's really funny if you haven't.
Wait, is that the one where he said he only had 100 yards, or he didn't have 100 yards passing, or something like that?
Yes. Did you hear that, Coach?
Oh, I heard it very much.
Right. Yeah. So Chris Jones, for anybody listening out there, he says, you only had 100 yards passing. And Jalen Hurts said, shut up. We won the game, stupid. I love that. I love every part of that. The one thing I love about Jalen Hurts is the fact that the only thing that matters to him is winning the football game. We constantly talk about players in the NFL where their goal is, hey, I need to throw for 300 yards, or I need to catch 10 passes, or I want to run for 100 yards. Jalen Hurts' goal is to win the football game, and I love that about I love that about QB1. Jory, Jalen had 101, by the way. Morning, Key. No, I kind of wanted your opinion on it because, it's funny. I really wish that I could get somebody on the show that feels very strongly against it, like a Nick Wright. Like, I wish I could be able to sit across someone like that and debate them, because I don't understand the logic behind their debate. I wish someone would ask them, well, is another team not allowed to run that play? I don't understand. Because we're good at it? No one talks about this, but Throughout his career, Tom Brady ran 137 quarterback sneaks and converted on 133 of them. That's a higher conversion rate than the tush push. Are we going to ban Tom Brady's quarterback sneaks? It's been part of the game for years. And if you want to talk about Landon Dickerson or, Tyler Steen being offsides on the offense, jumping early, 100%, you got to call that. I'm not here to argue whether or not they should have called the Eagles jumping early. But what I will say is this: you better have that same energy for all the Chiefs players that were lined up in the neutral zone, all the hands that were over the line of scrimmage, all the helmets that were over the line of scrimmage. I feel like the referees kind of washed their hands of the pre-snap penalties with the Chiefs lining up in the neutral zone and the Eagles jumping a tad early. And I agree with Key again. Jalen can definitely run a sneak without the push. Gentlemen, any final thoughts on the tush push before we move on?
Nah, it's people down here in Houston do it too. A lot of high school teams down here starting to do tush push a lot. I mean, like I said, you think that stuff easy to do. It's not, like, especially when you got a quarterback that's damn near. You can almost say he's a runner too. He's a runner too. He's like a damn running back. So at the end of the day, he's strong. I mean, he squats a lot and stuff like that. Then you got the best offensive line in football that to do that. So at the end of the day, I have no problem with it. I have really no problems with the situation. So the same thing I would say, hey, the Chiefs, the referees don't help the Chiefs because them teams don't execute the same way. I would say I'm not going to be saying the Eagles win because of the tush push.
No. On a funnier note, did you guys see that? Listen, there's a lot of injuries that happen in football games. A lot of them. I hate when I see an injury. A lot of quarterbacks went down this week. Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, JJ McCarthy. I think JJ McCarthy's injury is a little bit more, hey, let's take a seat for a couple weeks, and because you're not looking right. But the funniest injury to me is Sean McVay. Sean McVay tore his plantar fascia during the Week 2 victory on the sidelines. Good news, I'm not playing. I'm just watching from the sidelines, so I have a little cool limp to add to some swag. But Sean McVay was so excited on the sidelines winning a football game that he tore his plantar fascia on the sidelines of the Rams-Titans game. Did y'all see that?
I didn't see that. That's crazy.
I didn't see that.
That's funny. It's funny to me. Let's move on to any other games that last week that you guys felt like you didn't cover. I wasn't on Monday or Tuesday. I heard a lot of the show. It sounded like you covered a ton of games, and at risk of like repeating myself, is there any other games that you didn't cover, Mo, this week that you wanted to kind of bring up?
We covered a lot of games, but I don't think we covered every game. We didn't really talk. I know we didn't talk about Pittsburgh in Seattle. We didn't really talk about that game. I enjoyed that game. We didn't really get too much into the Jets and the Bills because of the score or whatever, but
Jets and Bills was an absolute laugher. I do want to that's two games we can touch on quickly, and I do want to add something to the Colts Broncos conversation. I know you guys were talking about that for a little bit, so I kind of want to add to that. What I will say about the Seahawks Steelers, and I would love your opinion on it too, Mo. Week 1 will make a lot of people liars about their football teams. Week 1, we've seen Aaron Rodgers throw for 4 touchdowns and be unscathed. We've seen Justin Fields have an incredible week. We've seen the Seattle Seahawks looked awful. When you turn the clock to week 2, you start seeing trends. Aaron Rodgers throws 2 picks. That Seattle defense, and which, by the way, that Seattle defense is loaded. I love what Mike McDonald's building over there in Seattle. They go into Pittsburgh, they put their feet on the couch, and they disrespect the Steelers in their own house, 31-17. Mo, what were your thoughts on that Seattle Seahawks Pittsburgh Steelers game?
Well, I knew the Seahawks defense was good. I'd watched them the previous week versus the Niners. Look, if the Niners defense isn't stout, we lose that game. And give Sam Darnold credit. He bounced back. He had a solid football game. They were able to run the football. Like, my impressions are two things. One, I knew the Steelers offense wasn't that good. And two, I think we all vastly overrated the Steelers defense. They didn't look good again. They looked old and slow again. So
63 points in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they've got that, and that's normally where they hang their hats at. They got problems in Pittsburgh.
We also can't run the ball at all. 21 carries for 72 yards is not running the ball effectively. Coach, what did you think of Seahawks versus Steelers?
Well, I think the Seahawks I like their secondary. Like I said, I'm on high on their secondary. Weatherspoon, Tariq Woolen, and all that. I'm high on their secondary. Like giving up 31 points, giving up over 30 points the last 2 games is not the Steelers' way of playing. Anytime you give up over 30 points, you expect to lose unless you're this high-powered offense, and that's something that the Steelers are really not. They're struggling. They cannot run the football. Even though Sam Darnold did throw 2 picks, but he looked better than Aaron Rodgers did out there. Then, like I said, I just thought the Seattle Seahawks controlled everything, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They forced the turnovers. They look really good, man. Seattle look really good. I thought the receivers got involved pretty much very well. They just scorched it. They just got scorched. That secondary just got scorched, man. And I'll say that this Seattle Seahawks, they looked very good against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Pittsburgh defense looked really bad. That's the surprising to me. They look really bad on the defensive side of the football, both the running game and the passing game. It just looked like you can do just anything you want against them. It doesn't matter. The pass rush is not getting home. Quarterback Sam Darnold looking comfortable in the pocket. Justin Fields week 1 looked comfortable in the pocket, throwing the football. The running game looked good against them. It just seemed like you can do anything you want against Pittsburgh right now.
Gio is Gio, my guy. You can see McDonald's philosophy come full circle in year 2. I completely agree with you. Jordan, I wanted to touch on this comment. You said, I don't think Brian Callahan's a good coach. I think he's incompetent. I think he's a very good offensive line coach. I think he was a good assistant coach before he went over there. But I remember when he got hired, he got mad at me for this. I told you he was one of the worst hires when they hired Callahan to replace what they had going on there with Mike Vrabel. I thought he would be a clear step back. And I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think he's incompetent. But I will say that I don't think he is a progressive coach to move a quarterback like Cam Ward forward. And what the danger is you now married Cam Ward to Brian Callahan. And we see how those issues have created. We see how issues created in Chicago. We see how that happens. I think that when you're looking at the situation that's going over in and listen, I'm just not. The situation that's happened in Chicago with Caleb Williams is an absolute mess. And I can already see the writing on the wall. Chicago Bears fans have already written me multiple times about how I'm an idiot and Ben came there just to coach Caleb. I'm going to warn you, when this fails in Chicago, Ben Johnson's going to draft a quarterback. Go ahead, Coach.
I want to say this. One thing I will always say, I'm a big component of holding the players accountable and just saying the players may not be as good as you think they were. At some point, just like Atlanta, you fired multiple head coaches in multiple years. How long is that going to take to beat? How many excuses you going to keep saying it's the coach? Or maybe is it the players? I mean, the Chicago Bears just moved on from their head coach, and it's still the same damn problem over and over. How many times you going to put that on the head coach? How many times that's got to be on the head coach? I mean, like I say, I'm a big hold players accountable person. Sometimes it can be on the head coach because the head coach can be incompetent. But at the end of the day, like, you can't just keep maneuvering through coaches and just keep saying it's the coach over and over when you know that your roster ain't really that good. It could be just your roster. So I just want to label that out there because the Atlanta Falcons still going to be the same team they always been. They're going to still find a way to lose close games this year. The Bears not looking really good at all, especially this defense for the Chicago Bears not looking good. So it just looked like the same problems and look like, but right now, Ben Johnson is not changing nothing at all.
So it's funny you say that because I pulled up the Bears depth chart and I want you to tell me if this sounds like a defense that should be able to win football games. Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Noah Sewell, Jalen Johnson, although he's hurt, which sucks, Jaquan Brister, Tyreek Stevenson, Kevin Byard, Kyler Gordon. Is that a defense that sounds like they should be giving up 76 points?
No. It looked like that's like an incompetent defense, a real good defense.
But the problem is last year, their defense at the end of the season was good, but their offense was incompetent. So what they did was they went out and got an offensive coordinator. And when they went out and got an offensive coordinator, they fixed up their offensive line. Their defense is now struggling. Chicago is a black hole. Ryan Poles needs to be fired. That's their general manager if you don't know at home. Ryan Poles needs to be fired. And I don't care if you have to do it after next season because you have to give this regime 2 years. You got to give Caleb and Ben Johnson 2 years. You can't give them one. You cannot give them one. So after next season, when it inevitably fails, because history tells you it is going to fail, the Chicago Bears' best quarterback of all time is Jim McMahon or Jay Cutler. It always fails in Chicago when it comes to quarterback. Always. You have to fire the GM, you have to fire the coach, and you have to draft a quarterback or trade for a quarterback or sign a quarterback and marry him to the coach. The Bears do this over and over and over and over and over and over again. It is the definition of insanity. Yeah. When they let Matt Eberflus coach Caleb Williams year one, I knew again they made that mistake. Mo, we've talked about this. You got to marry the coach to the quarterback. It always fails. We're talking about Bryce Young in Carolina and not marrying him to Dave Canales. It happens all the time. Who drafted? Just wondering. Coach, help me out quickly. I know you know the answer. Who drafted? What coach drafted Patrick Mahomes?
Andy Reid.
What coach drafted Josh Allen?
Brian Daboll, I believe. I mean, Sean McDermott. Yeah.
But Brian Daboll was the offense coordinator. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
When you look, what coach drafted Lamar Jackson? John Harbaugh.
Harbaugh.
When you look at these situations, the most laid out situations in the NFL, the coach is married to the quarterback. And Bears fans came at my throat. And see, this is what I mean, right? I know Caleb isn't playing well, but that offensive line commits too many penalties. They invested all their money this offseason in offensive line.
Yeah. Yes.
Caleb's got to stop holding the ball.
They should have been invested their offensive line. Now you pick this year, the offensive line is still the same thing. Nothing is just improved.
Look, I've always tried to stay open-minded, even though I'm not a huge Caleb Williams fan. But I believe that Ben Johnson is as good as it gets to me in terms of an offensive mind. If anybody's going to be able to coach Caleb Williams up, it would be Ben Johnson. And I have to remind myself when I have these conversations, it's his second season. It's year 2 for this guy. But what I told people, what you've always told me, because we had these conversations, if they're not good this season and he doesn't take a step forward, the next season will be Caleb Williams' make or break year in Chicago. Mm-hmm. He will get released or traded, and Ben Johnson will go out and do what we always talk about and draft his own guy. That's how it always plays out.
And
I agree with you. They need his own shit. The Bears front office still don't want to leave shit in the past. They're still glazing on the 85 Bears. I agree. By the way, Coach, let me ask you a question. First drive is always scripted in the NFL. You coached.
Yep.
First drive in the NFL is always scripted. Am I correct?
Yep. It's always the momentum tone.
First 10 to 15 plays. Yep. They're practiced during the week. They know the plays. They're scripted.
Yep.
What do you think the Bears' first drive results were the first 2 weeks?
Not a touchdown.
Touchdown on both drives.
I don't think it's a touchdown. I think the first drive against Minnesota was a touchdown.
First drive versus the Lions.
First drive of the game. First drive of the game against Minnesota was a touchdown. I think
the first drive versus the Lions
was the touchdown. Yeah. And then after that, they just fell apart. Right after those touchdowns, they just fell apart.
Well, they're scripting a great start to the game, and they just cannot continue it, because when you continue it, you have to make adjustments, and teams make adjustments. Ben Johnson's got to do a better job. Caleb Williams has to do a better job.
Yep.
Someone who lives in Chicago, they're definitely living in the past. I agree with you, Gio. I don't disagree with you one bit. All right, let's move on. Daniel Jones. Damn, Daniel. 29-28 victory over the Denver Broncos this week in a game that was wild. Now, it's funny because this is the first game I watched on my all 22, because this game happened during the Eagles game. So the one thing I found very interesting about this game is, the Indianapolis Colts offense had almost 500 yards versus the vaunted Denver Broncos defense. Daniel Jones starting to play within the system, making a name for himself. I still do not believe. I'll be very clear here. I don't want to, but you have to call a spade a spade. And I told you, if he looked really good week 2 versus the Broncos and not versus a hapless Miami Dolphins team, I would start paying attention. It's time to start paying attention to what's going on with Shane Steichen, Daniel Jones, and the Indianapolis Colts. Mo has been consistent in saying if the Daniel Jones plays within the system and doesn't turn the football over, he thinks the Colts are going to win that division. Coach, do you think that your Houston Texans have enough to take down the Indianapolis Colts? And damn Daniel Jones.
Yes, I obviously think, because I think my defense is very strong. That's one thing I'm going to always have to acknowledge on. Now, my offense may be not so good. My offensive line is really improving. People going to say the offensive line didn't play good. Well, you must say look at the game very much against Tampa Bay, where the offensive line definitely did not play that bad. It was Dare that got blowed up twice, and really the offensive line as a whole gave up just 1 sack. Dare gave up 2 of them. The running back that fumbled the ball against the Rams, he gave up 2 of them. One when he got completely blown up, and one on a 2-point conversion when Noah was going to be wide open. He got blown up. So technically, the offensive line only gave up 1 sack. But yeah, we can't run the football. But like I say, my defense is going to give us an opportunity. I think my offense will start stepping up. So other than that, I'm not afraid of the Indianapolis Colts, but I will give credit where credit due. They are playing some good football. They are playing some great football. Daniel Jones is taking care of the football. 316 yards against supposed to be a very good Denver defense. That's crazy for Daniel Jones. And then Jonathan Taylor rushing for 165. You got Tyler Warren, who looked good as a rookie, 79 yards, and Alec Pierce getting 68. And you got Josh Downs getting 51 yards. And he's spreading the football around. He's finding these different receivers. He's getting everybody involved. And plus the running game is playing so well. So you just got to give Shane Steichen and give Daniel Jones credit too, because he's working. He's finding his open teammates. He's being poised in the pocket. He is pushing the ball down the field. And you just got to give credit where credit due. Like I said, I don't hate no division rival. I don't hate nobody at all. Like I say, it's just go ahead.
It's funny you bring up Tyler Warren, because when Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland were drafted, we all thought that Colston Loveland was drafted to the better situation, because now Ben Johnson likes to use the tight ends, and they have Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And Tyler Warren looked like by far. Listen.
He probably drafted the right person for his skill for his skill set and for his offense. But Tyler Warren is the better tight end. He is actually the better tight end. So he is the actually better tight end. And like I said again, I'm like if I was to draft, I would draft actually the better player, like the better player. I think Tyler Warren would have been good in this system too. I think he's that good of a player. But like I just thought Tyler Warren was the better player than Colston Loveland. I think he would have worked, and I do not disagree with you at all. I think Loveland was good. I liked it Loveland, but Tyler Warren is just a better football player, and that's how the way he's playing. He is killing it in that Colts offense.
They have not punted the football yet.
It's wild.
That's what blows my mind. The Colts offense have yet to punt the football.
Ain't that wild, Mo?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, they got a very good chance of going 3-0 this week. They play the Tennessee Titans. Jory said they're not scoring 30 on Sunday. But they got a very good chance going 3-0 this week playing the Tennessee Titans. It is a division game. So I will do this. Jory, I hope you're listening. I think the Tennessee Titans, and the spread tells me a lot in this game. I think the Tennessee Titans, we're going to play them really hard. I think that's a field goal game. I'm not going to say if the Titans are going to win or the Colts are going to win, but I will tell you this. I love the Tennessee Titans plus 3.5 this week. I love the Tennessee Titans plus 3.5 this week. That game's going to be a very, very, very close game. I promise you that.
Of course. I mean, your division game is always going to be the toughest game, so it wouldn't shock me. Division game is going to be it's the toughest games to actually play because you play them 2 times. You know each other. I think the divisional games is the most hardest games to even play. No, regardless of what sports, I think your division games is harder to play.
All right, let's get into this week. Thursday night football. In order to win the game, you cannot lose the game. Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins are headed into Buffalo to take on 70 points Buffalo Bills versus a Miami Dolphins team that couldn't stop me, Coach, and Mo from running offense. They've given up points to the Colts and to the Patriots on back-to-back weeks. I said Mike McDaniels would be the first coach fired this year. I didn't think it would come after week 3, but I will say this. If the Buffalo Bills beat down the Miami Dolphins like the Dolphins got beat down week 1, I don't think he makes it to week 4. 0-3 might be enough to get him fired. Evil Einstein. It's funny. I always root against the Miami Dolphins. Always. Because of the way they treated my guy, Brian Flores. It's Thursday night football. I think it's going to be a stinker. I think Buffalo Bills are going to, at home, are going to smack around the Miami Dolphins. Culture is better. Quarterback play is better. Defense is better. Offense is better. Where y'all at on Thursday night?
I think the Bills win a game that's not very close. I don't know what the blowout will look like, but I think it's a comfortable win, maybe 30-10 or 30-17. I don't think it's a close game. I think Buffalo can do whatever they want. If they against Miami, run the football, throw the football. Like last week, they decided to just run the football down their throats. I think they'll do that against Miami as well.
Coach?
I mean, I think they do whatever they want. I mean, this Buffalo Bills team is just incompetent. You talking about a team that's very frustrated. You talking about Tyreek Hill's frustrated. Tua not playing well. He look like he's out of it. You let the Patriots go 7 for 12 on third downs, which means your defense can't get off the field at all. You can't run the football with only 61 yards. So what you can do, you can't stop nobody on defense. You can't do nothing but turn the ball over on offense. So you really cannot do anything. Yes, you scored 27 points, but your defense can't get off the field. Your defense can't stop a nosebleed. Your defense can't stop me, Mo, and Gene. or Jordan. They can't stop now one of us if they try. So at the end of the day, I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills score 40 points on them. I wouldn't be surprised. And I think the Bills will be able to run the football against them. I believe Josh Allen going to be able to do whatever he wants. And I just don't believe the Dolphins, especially if it's in Buffalo, I believe Buffalo will destroy him. Buffalo will destroy him. By the way we seeing, how the Miami Dolphins has played the first 2 weeks, I think Buffalo in a domination fashion.
Jordy said this is what they get for Flores. They're soft. They're front runners. Tua talks too much. I'll say this, right? You have that situation down there with Miami, but the one thing I'll remind you of, Brian Flores was fired after taking a 6-11 team to a 10-7 record and a 9-8 record. Mike McDaniels has gotten 4 years and not a playoff win with it, taking over a 9-8 football team. They also agreed to move on with Vic Fangio because Vic Fangio was coaching the players too hard. Vic Fangio is the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you, Miami. I'm going to send the postcard is in the mail. Damien predicts a 100-0 win.
I don't know about all that, but if they get destroyed on national TV, I think it's Mike McDonald's last game, and whoever the interim coach is, I think Tua's on a short leash. They can't move him because of the contract, but they can move him to the bench.
It's very weird to see a week 3 football game with over a 10-point spread, because normally people still have hope for their team. And to see a division rivalry game with an 11.5-point spread, the Chiefs versus Giants is a 6.5-point spread. That tells you, and the Giants are 0-2, and the Chiefs need a win. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I do want to move over to a different sport. Can we move off of the NFL for a moment? Last night something happened, and I gotta talk about it. The Las Vegas Aces have won 17 straight basketball games. Last night, they're up by 12 points in the middle of the third quarter. They're up by 11 or 8 going into the fourth. And the Seattle Storm stormed back behind Nneka Ogwumike and beat Gabby Williams. Nneka Skyler was incredible last night. Seattle Storm beat the Las Vegas Aces 86-83, putting the Aces on brink of elimination. Now, granted, they're only a 3-game series in the WNBA playoffs, and the Aces are going to be playing at home. So I don't necessarily think they have too much to worry about. But the way Nneka and Skyler played last night, Seattle gave Las Vegas a huge L. What is your thoughts on the Vegas Aces versus the Seattle Storm game last night? Walked them down. That's right. Walked them down.
They did walk them down. But I give them credit because this was a great response to getting to what happened to them in game 1. It was a great response. But if you look at the way Seattle's built, especially across their front line, they have the front line that is built to give somebody like A'ja Wilson trouble. They have a lot of athletes. They're long, they're physical, and they have a lot of people who can put the ball in the basket. Seattle's a really good team. And the Aces has basically had their way with the entire league, the entire second half. This is a new thing for them to lose, especially blowing the type of league that they had. So I'm going to be really interested in how they respond, because now they're facing a little adversity, because this is the elimination game, right? Whoever wins game 3 moves on. So it's going to be interesting to see what A'ja and the Aces can do. But I would not be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked, because Seattle's a really good basketball team. That could go either way.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the game last night?
Shout out, congratulations to the Seattle Storm. I mean, Emeka and Skylar Diggins, they played incredible last night. Izzy Madnagor is a great center inside. Definitely, she can change shots at the rim. Like Mo said, they got the front court to make A'ja Wilson. Give A'ja Wilson some trouble, especially with the size that Izzy Madnagor plays with. And then Emeka being able to put the ball in the basket. I think that's very interesting. Then you got a guard that can pretty much score the basketball. But I think at the end of the day, I think the Aces are going to make some adjustments. I think they get back on track in game 3, and I think they take and win game 3. And it's a reason, like, you don't want to lose games like this, especially when you got a 12-point lead and 11-point lead going in the fourth quarter, and you on the road. You don't want to be giving away games like this because anything can happen in game 3, and all of a sudden it's a close game. You playing if the game is close, that's what Seattle wants it to be. Seattle wants it. Seattle wants it to be close. So if I'm Seattle, you do whatever you take to try to stay in this game. You can't turn the ball over. You got to try to get a shot up every possession you can. You just want to keep the game close going into the fourth quarter just to have a shot. And if you're the Aces, hey, if I have a lead early, you got to put the game away. You just got to put the game away. You can't allow them to stay in the game like they did last night. You didn't technically put them away. They came back. Mecca was able to have a big fourth quarter. Skylar Diggins was able to make some huge shots, including 4 for 6 from downtown. The defense settled in. So these are the type of games when you have a lead, you have to put them away. And the Aces didn't do that. And now you're going to a game 3 on a break of elimination, regardless of the 17 straight victories. You can be looking at yourself if the game is close and Seattle finds a way. You can look at yourself all of a sudden. Hey, we at home. We blew game 2. We at home. So I think the Aces get the job done in game 3.
I do too. I do say this though. Seattle has 3 people that can absolutely put the ball in the basket, like at a high level, and they've done it for game after game after game. We've watched them do it on all different levels between Nneka, Gabby Williams, and Skylar Diggins. You have 3 people that can absolutely put the ball in the basket at a high volume. You better hope 2 of those don't get hot like they did last night.
You better hope I feel like this, and I'm a fan of both teams, but especially the Aces. If it's a close game, I think the Aces are going to have some problems. Especially if they have a lead and Seattle walks them down again, that becomes a mental thing. I think they'll have some problems.
Let's talk about the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever gave the Atlanta Dream a 17. This was not as close of a basketball game as the Indiana Fever handed the Atlanta Dream the L that the Atlanta Dream handed the Fever in game 1. They have game 3 coming up on tomorrow night. The Indiana Fever won at home. The Atlanta Dream won at home. Next game's back in Atlanta. I think Atlanta wins the basketball game, but I got to give credit where credit's due. A Fever team that's missing so much this year. Ari McDonald, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, and obviously Caitlin Clark. All 4 of those women are out for the year, and yet this Fever team consistently keeps finding ways to win basketball games. Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard, who was one of my favorite signings. I made that very clear. All went out there and played great basketball. Do the Fever have an opportunity to knock off the Dream, who, in my opinion, are the much better basketball team in game 3?
I think they do because I feel like the Fever are playing with house money.
100%.
They're playing with house money. They're playing with no pressure at all. Like, they shouldn't even be here. The fact that they play as scrappy as they do and it's next man up, Atlanta's the better team, but I give the Fever a legit chance to win because I think they're just playing pressure-free basketball. They're just hooping.
Coach?
The same thing I will say about the Fever, I will say about Seattle. I mean, just keep the game close. If you keep the game close, you have an opportunity. You just have an opportunity to pull it out. We know the Aces and the Atlanta Dream are the better team. We know that. We know that for a fact. But if you're a team that's not expected to win, like the Storm and like Indiana with all the injuries, you just got to keep the game close going into the fourth quarter. Keep putting the pressure on the Atlanta Dream and let them know, hey, we still in the game. You just got to put us away. And you just need Ryan. You need Ryan Howard. Got to show us that she's a big time player. I'm very high on Ryan Howard. You got to show us that you're a big time player. Deal Coffee, 9 minutes, no points, unacceptable. Alicia Gray coming off injury. She's got to be better. Everybody on this Atlanta Dream team got to chip in. Why? Everybody in game 2, but you got a get very good scoring output for Indiana on game 2. Like you said, Natasha Howard, the NBA champion, a veteran, she stepped up. Kelsey Mitchell, a very good scorer, 4 threes in the game. She stepped up and made plays. So if I'm the Fever, same thing for the Seattle Storm. Try to find a way to stay in the game. You will have an opportunity to win, but I'm gonna take the Atlanta Dream at home.
I got one last topic for you gentlemen this morning before we wrap up. And this comes with a video. So I'm going to share my screen and I want you guys to watch this video and then we'll react to it afterwards. I love this video, by the way. The headline is the college football AP poll used to mean something. Y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Poll for college football has become an absolute joke. And we need to start publicly shaming these AP voters that put in 0 time and 0 effort into their ballots. So without further ado, here are some of the heinous crimes that media members committed in their rankings this week. Mason Young of the Tulsa World has South Carolina ranked 15th and Vanderbilt unranked. Vanderbilt beat South Carolina 31-7 on the road this week. I thought that'd be the worst thing we'd see, but Brenna Green of KOIN News in Portland voted South Carolina 10th after getting blown out at home by Vanderbilt. She moved South Carolina up a spot for losing by 24 at home. She did not rank it. Ian Fred from WLNS TV in Lansing also has South Carolina ranked, but not Vanderbilt. Reminder, Vanderbilt beat them 31-7 at South Carolina this week. Koki Riley from the Baton Rouge Advocate put 0-2 Notre Dame at 10. In fact, Aaron McMahon from MLive Media Group, Brett McMurphy from On3, Ralph Russo from The Athletic, and Kurt Kenny from the San Diego Union Tribune all still have Notre Dame in their top 15. But my favorite one with the Irish would be how Kevin Carter from CBS Sports put Notre Dame unranked after losing their first game, but now has them back in the top 25 after losing a second time. And Jamal St. Cyr from WJXT TV in Florida has Clemson ranked, but not Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is 3-0 and just beat 1-2 Clemson. The AP poll used to be something to enjoy each week. That number next to the team's name meant something. But now it's just become a rage-baiting, uneducated mess.
So, gentlemen, I wanted to share that with you because
hilarious.
I felt like it was worth the conversation. Your thoughts on the video? I love Barstool Tate. If just we're being honest and give him all the credit in the world, he deserves it. That is funny. Mo, what are your thoughts on that video?
It just blows you away, the mindset of some of these voters. I honestly, and look, I'm not a voter, but I wouldn't even have Notre Dame in the top 20 right now. I don't know how you justify that.
How do you justify that? They shouldn't be ranked. They're 0-2.
Right. I don't understand how you justify that. And
they lost at home to A&M, who was ranked 17th.
It's crazy. And South Carolina is the funniest one. Like, how do they keep going up? You went up after you got beat. You just got thumped and you went up. Like, how do you justify that? The one guy had him 17th and the other one had him 10th.
Moved him up after losing 31-7.
Right. Right. He's right.
31-7 at home.
He's 100% right. The number by the name used to matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
Coach?
I mean, again, man, I'm over here crying, laughing because that was crazy, bro. I mean, you got embarrassed at home. And you either at 10 or you either at 15, and you still in the top 15, and you get embarrassed at home on your home turf by Vanderbilt. And I mean, Georgia Tech is not even ranked after beating Colorado on the road. And then they beat Clemson and Cade Klubnik. That's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. That's not looking good right now. And you go and you beat them, but you don't deserve to be ranked. That's crazy. That's just That's just buffoonery right there.
I love it. I love the fact that people are calling out these AP voters. Marcel Reed was running laps around that Notre Dame defense. You are absolutely correct. Someone projected that on Wire to Wire. I don't know who that was. Oh, it was me. And by the way, my man Coach last week on Coffee and Sports told you Marcel Reed, Texas A&M. Don't care how injured he is.
Hey, who said? Hey, Gene, who said who was winning the game? Who did I pick? Who did I pick to win the game? A&M. And I believe I made another pick that said someone was going to win. Oh, I picked Georgia to win the game, right? I picked.
You both picked Georgia Tech over Clemson.
I picked Georgia to win the game at Tennessee, right, Mo?
You did.
Hey,
you did.
I had Tennessee in that game. I had Tennessee.
I had Georgia in the game. And Gunnar Stockton played well, too. Don't mean I'm high on him, but he did play well. So
he did play well. No, you got.
That's the one game
you
I
called
had
that one.
And I wouldn't have been wrong if the field goal kicker makes a goddamn field goal. I had that game pinned perfectly. But
Coach called it. Coach called it. I had Tennessee as well. Coach called it.
First of all, I love the way Joey Aguilar has played for Tennessee. And I loved the whole story behind him basically getting traded from, I mean, not traded, but the situation that happened with UCLA with him and Nico. And I love his dad's comments. I absolutely love Joey Aguilar, just to be clear. Marcel Reed over Arch Manning, not even close. I mean, so right now in college, you're correct. If you're talking about pro prospect, I don't agree with that. I agree with you as far as your college rankings. But as far as a pro prospect, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Arch is going to be fine. The minute he missed it, Tennessee had no shot in overtime. I completely agree with you. Nothing. Tennessee had that game, 38-30. Georgia ends up scoring the touchdown, getting a 2-point conversion. Tennessee gets in the field goal range. And versus Georgia, 38 points, just no issues. Just scoring like on call. And I love Josh Heupel. I think Josh Heupel froze his own kicker. It was like 2.5 minutes of real time between the last time they played, the last down they played with the timeouts. And I felt like they could have ran another play. I felt like they could have, but I felt like they did a very poor job of icing their own kicker.
Yep.
But it's interesting. It's always fun talking sports with you, Coach. Listen, if there's a person that watches more sports than me, it's probably you. I know, like, it's incredible to hear how tapped in you are to WNBA, NFL, college football. I mean, you must have 2 TVs right behind your podcast screen watching them as things go on.
I'm always watching.
I am surprised, Josh Heupel, and to have that situation happen in Tennessee where you lose Nico and they still look really good in Tennessee. I agree. Josh Heupel deserves some NFL looks. Any final comments, Coach?
I mean, it's been a great show, man. Have fun getting back on and doing this again. Appreciate you for giving me this opportunity. Shout out to Mo. At the end of the day, again, shout out to Terrence Crawford, the GOAT of this era, for over a big win versus Canelo. We'll see what's in tap for both of them. Well, I know it's not in tap for Canelo. He won't go towards David Benavidez after this loss, but Terrence Crawford be on the lookout for. I think David Benavidez is in the books. I think he will target that fight.
Coach, Crawford or Mayweather? One word.
Crawford or Mayweather?
All time.
All time. You may have to take Terrence Crawford, man. You may have to take, but like I say, Floyd Mayweather beat like champions too, though. His resume is no slouch either, though. I mean,
that's why I asked the question.
Yo,
Mo, is it time to have the conversation, Crawford and Mayweather?
Yo, Miguel Cotto. I mean, Diego Corrales in his prime when he was knocking out, when he had like 20 straight knockouts. DeMarcus Corlin wasn't no joke.
Prisoners of the moment, Mo.
Sugar Shane Mosley was still good.
Yeah, I think people have been look. I think Bud is an amazing boxer, but I think we might want to step back and really look at both of their careers before we anoint him over Floyd.
That's what I was asking. All right, Mo, close us out. We at 10 o'clock.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you.
Thanks for being on this week, Coach. Appreciate you, Mo. We'll see you tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Water Water Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. That is the man that knows better, Mo better, and it's Wednesdays with Coach Dante. We are